I'm there to stir the pot and make people think. And look, I'm like, I put something on social media the other day, and I said, most days I feel like Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes. And like, I've got people just reacting to me in the audience, and I'm like, I don't care. It's fine. It's jokes. I'm making you think. That's all I'm here to do. I'm just here to say what I got to say, and it's my opinion, and it's okay. That's what social media is about. I run into opinions I disagree with all day long, and I don't necessarily feel the need to change their minds. Yeah. But I can engage with someone, and then we can high five afterwards and hug it out and have a beer, whatever else. But to me, I look at all those things like I'm here to challenge and be challenged and grow.
Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. My name is Jared Miguez, a co-host on this podcast that brings you the inspiring stories of our clients who are leaders and innovators across different industries in Southeast Louisiana. They are visionary entrepreneurs, savvy real estate professionals, media creators, military business owners, and community champions. And we are going to showcase the remarkable achievements and share their personal stories. Tune in for insightful conversations, valuable lessons, and motivational stories that are going to reveal their secrets to success and offer you insights to help you on your own path. Welcome to In the Arena podcast.
I'm going to have a hard time focusing, but Jared's just chest hair facing me the whole time.
Fluff it for him.
Stephanie likes that. First time Stephanie.
Is this your professional look?
First
a
time,
button down with a pullover?
Are we going for
I
professional?
wear this outfit like once a week. And you're
I know.
just
I'm a
noticing
little
it?
bit bothered. I feel like you wear less branded shirts now that we started Arena. And do we need to talk about that?
Well, it's because the task, the way that fits on my belly that I have now, doesn't look great. So
Bro,
I
I
don't wear it.
can
I think
totally...
you need to own it. I think you own it as like a badge of this is how we got here.
The belly?
Cheetos.
Which is a
and
year
late
today.
night dinner. What?
Your grand opening was a year ago today.
Huh.
I texted you.
You had no idea, did you?
Look at your phone. I texted you.
She did text us.
Is that what you said you texted me? Look at that. It's been a year.
Your belly needs to be like Scott McLaughlin's daughter with the bows. He says the bigger the bow, the closer to God, is what he says.
Yeah. We used to say that to hair in my mom's salon.
Bigger the hair, the
Bigger
closer
the
to
hair, the
God.
closer to Jesus.
Fair enough.
You remember mall bangs?
Yeah.
Like I was a sure enough like Kelly Kapowski, you know. mall bang.
Pixar didn't have
You text messaged me?
Our group.
But not in the group. Not you directly.
But yeah, it was a thing. We're gonna do that. What party was that? What was the grand opening? We did the one.
It was
in
taco.
Hotel.
It was taco.
Then we did
Oh,
here.
I looked at that earlier today,
We're
and I'm
doing
thinking,
a-
has it been that long
we're
since
doing
we
a
all
May
text
2nd.
messaged in a group
Oh,
together?
no.
Because we had those. Okay. I see now.
We're doing May 2nd, the CE, followed by a fiesta.
I'm in.
That's what we're doing. It's gonna be amazing.
This year's gonna be the year that Kelly doesn't do my CE.
We're on camera. Pull it. Pull it. December 31st, 2024. I want it pulled.
I don't give a
Jonah,
fuck.
can you please send that personal clip to Kelly
That is
so
funny.
she can hold him accountable?
That is funny.
Fire me, bitch. I don't care. I'll go work for station.
That's what we keep telling each other.
Yeah.
We're quitting, fire me. Hasn't
What
happened
would you
yet.
do if you woke up tomorrow and you could not do what you're doing right now?
Honestly,
100%.
She'd be lost.
I would enjoy it for a little bit. I would enjoy being able to just sit back and relax and breathe and actually get one task accomplished at home.
But that would be like a week. What would you do after that week was over?
I don't know.
I
I'd be
feel
lost.
like that was tested for me. COVID happened, and then for about a week and a half, I woke up every morning. I did my PIO class on my back porch. We had nowhere to go. Family was there. We did, crabs, and the crab traps was amazing. About a week and a half in, I was like, what am I doing with my life? And when is this stopping? When can I go back to normal and be
So-
productive?
Me and Kelly, we were pretty comfortable from investments that we had before we got married, and then we were just kind of.
Not a we thing. You were lost.
I was, but Kelly was. I mean, we decided to become real estate agents, and it was just like a thing for us to do. It wasn't something we had to do. We weren't like on a mission, and so we were good with that. Generally speaking, I wouldn't say we were fulfilled, but we were pretty good. And then it was.
You talking about during COVID?
No, this is
No. This
pre
is when we.
kids.
This
like
is
Free 1%.
pre 1%, pre real estate.
2011.
2011, we got into it.
Well, 2011 we got our real estate licenses. 2012 at the end of it we had William, but I mean we weren't really active. It wasn't until we had the itch to create 1% lists that's where it got interesting, because now all of a sudden I was super, 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 super busy and Kelly wasn't, which was a hard time for us because it was like
I was at home with the kids.
Kelly's at home with the kids, which there's nothing wrong with being at home for the kids, but she's like watching me undertake this crazy ass adventure, and she's like, I want to do that too.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing when it fits your personality.
Yeah, and it doesn't make you a bad dad or a bad mom or anything else. It's just like,
Either is a fit or isn't.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't work long term for me.
Yeah, we don't.
And I appreciate my friends and family members that have it.
Oh, and I appreciate the time I was able to stay home with the kids.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How old were the kids whenever you started working again?
We started in 2011 in real estate. We started 1% less in 2015. So 3 and 1.
That's how old the kids were when you started?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it didn't really ramp up for her until like probably a year and a half, 2 years in.
Probably.
And so she was watching me just kind of struggle and get stressed out. And I mean, I don't think I really get stressed out, or at least I don't feel it if I do. Maybe I'm different, but I don't feel it and I don't notice it.
Well, you
So
probably
Jared,
do like me.
Grant, y'all get stressed
Yeah.
out. It just doesn't last.
It doesn't last, and at least for me, I figure out it's a problem solving for me. It's like when I can't solve the problem very quickly, I tend to get a little bit anxious and stressed out. But
Like that fly in front of you.
yeah, like that fly, I can't figure out how to catch him. But once I figure it out, like I usually get pretty, I get back on the horse and I can start moving.
Yeah. So I think in a weird way, and tell me if I'm wrong, but once Kelly got knee deep into it too, we kind of hit a little bit more of our stride. Now you're always going to have tough times. You're always going to have those hard things that you go through, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe I guess she didn't feel like I was going through it alone, or she didn't feel like she was missing out. It was like it was an us thing.
Yeah, it was an us thing. It wasn't him going through it alone by himself and me sitting on the sideline saying, I wish I could help, but I can't.
Right.
I love that.
So how were you able, Kelly? How were you able to balance the kids? Because I have a 6, a 4-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. I don't know if that one other kid to the mix just throws everything off. But like, how were
I
you
have
able?
that one.
Yeah. Well, you have 3
I would
kids.
say the
well,
big one
except for
raises
you
the
say anything
little
about
one.
me, so
Most days, but some days the little one raises the big one. No, I'm talking about William.
But like, how were you able to balance and find, like, did you have help? Did you have a system?
No help. That's still being worked through.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance that some days I feel like I'm super mom and I can handle it and I've got it done. Whereas other days I feel like I'm short with them because of everything going on with work or just not enough hours in the day.
But you also just bit off the whole homeschooling thing too. So you added a whole other thing to the mix.
Yeah.
What made you feel like with all the other stuff that you could add something else in there?
She's a friggin' rock star.
She doesn't like it when I have free time.
No, you can try anything for a year. Mm-hmm. So we attempted the school thing for a year. Mm-hmm. They've flourished and they love it. They do realize now that it's a sacrifice, more so, I would say, on me than Grant, because I'm going to be home with them.
Yeah.
They're going to have to run work errands with me,
So
and
like-
I'm going to do homework. And
The homework tables are in Kelly's office at our house. And so I don't think it's a problem with our youngest because, she's 3rd grade, so it's a little bit easier, but also she's more like Kelly. Whereas William is very much like me. Like, I barely graduated high school. I barely graduated college. It's like, I'm not a dumb person, but school is not my thing.
Yeah.
And so with William will, he'll like write a rough draft for something and entire lines are just one big long word. And he's like, what, Mom? It's a rough draft. And yet you have Emily and she's like, everything must be perfect. And that's how Kelly is. She's a military girl. Like, she's the administrative system builder. Everything should be perfect.
Yeah.
And William's very much like me. And so, me and William and Kelly and William had to have some chats. And finally I told William, I was like, look, William, you have a lifestyle that is the envy of all your friends. While all your friends are at school 5 days a week, guess what? You're sleeping in Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you're golfing and you're getting to do what you want to do. But part of that trade-off is, buddy, when it's time to knock out work, it's time to knock out work. You don't get the opportunity to be an ass to your mom. It's like you need to have a work ethic.
Yeah.
and it took some time, but now he's better. He's not perfect.
How old is he now?
11.
He's 11. So, and how old is Emily?
9.
So 9 and 11. That's very cool.
Almost
just
exactly
had-
2 years apart.
I just had like the same conversation with Dylan.
Do you mean to have the conversation with her? Because I'm kind of huge, and so it's like it has a
You
different.
might need to, right? It'll
It
come
has
down.
a different feeling.
I'm scary. I'm scary AF. It's fine. I got
Really?
this. Oh yeah, I
Bro.
did
Oh my
a deep
God.
stare into her soul just to make sure she knows.
I don't see you that scary.
Yeah, it'll come out. No, but she's at that point where she's starting to see the videos and watch like, oh, you don't need school. Everything that you're teaching is not important. Like, thank goodness for trigonometry because I really need that when I file my taxes. And while I laugh at all of those videos, and I think that it's true, I broke it down. I was like, look, what you're learning right now is discipline and a standard. I don't care whether you're ever going to use this in your life, but you are going to perform right now at this to teach yourself that you can do it. Because the
Should
first
just
time
look at
that
her
you
and be like,
fail,
"Honey,
it's acceptance.
I'll sue you.
No, but you're laughing about that too. They came home one day and she was running her mouth about that and she was like, yep, you're going to sue somebody about that. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. We are the other lawyers in this household, right?
Right.
We don't want frivolous lawsuits. I'm like, you got to cut that out. If I hear you say that again, I'm taking your tongue
Fine.
out.
I hear you.
But it's hard. It's hard when they, you know their personality. You want to feed, their.
You want to feed into who they are as people,
Right.
but at the same time, offer them the guidance
Right.
of what's expected.
Yeah.
Not just from you, but in life.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you need discipline.
Well,
That's when they learn it.
You do, but we're so different in what that means to us. So, like, my background was in coaching basketball, and some kids, they need to be yelled at in order to get the best out of them. Some kids need to be coddled. Some kids, all you have to do is just look at them and say, oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed in you. And that hits harder than running suicides or anything else you could do. It's like, you have to understand, like, our daughter, she's tough. Our son, he's soft. Now, I love it. He's a very, nice child, but it's like, you can guilt trip William from here to China without trying. And that's kind of how you get him where you want. It's like, hey, buddy, come on. Be a team player here. Help us out. We need this. And then he'll run through a wall for you, but you just got to do it the right way.
Yeah, you could have made me run 1,000,000 suicide sprints and do 100 push-ups and be like, let's do some
Screw
more.
you.
Yeah, but like,
Challenge accepted.
yeah, but then that whole I'm disappointed in you
Emotions.
thing, like that's where it was like.
That's that high eye.
Yeah, my dad never really said much to me growing up about like he was like not a motivational speaker, or, like didn't like lecture me about shit. It was just like a few key points in my life. He said something that was just like, oh, okay, that's
stuck.
the right. That's what I have to do. I remember one time, and I told this story. I was I took down an old American flag that'd been hanging for years and it was all old, and I like kind of took it and stuck it on a shelf, and he was like, "That's not how you do that." And I'm like, he's like, no, he's like, just because nobody can see it doesn't mean you're not gonna do it right. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go fold that. And then just like it never, it's that story. I mean, I was probably 10 years old, but like burned into my brain. He just said little things like that growing up. But
And what matters is what you get out of them. It's not how you want to discipline or how you want to do anything else. What matters is what comes out the other end of that.
yeah,
And, it's a results driven thing. It's like, what do I need to say to my son to make him want to do the right thing for the right reason, even if I'm not here? Mm-hmm. That's the important thing, right? And so it's like, you got to figure out how to say it. And it's, for him, it's not yelling, because then you hurt his feeling and then he's combative.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't move the needle.
Everybody says communication is key, and it's like comprehension is key.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to communicate in a way that it can be comprehended
Yeah.
by them.
Yeah, I think I need to hear that sometimes.
That's leadership, right? Whether it's your children or whether it's people in your organization, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
How will they hear me? How can I best communicate? to
Yeah.
them so that they
And
can-
I think I'm guilty of that too with a lot of the stuff that I do on
Everybody
social
is.
media.
Human nature.
But it's like, for me, it's a different purpose. If I'm one-on-one sitting down with somebody, then it's a lot more warm and wholesome and different. But if it's on social media, then I'm going there for a different purpose.
we're getting attention on social media, man. That's what you're
I'm there to stir the pot and make people think.
yeah.
Say it again.
I'm there to stir the pot and make people think. And look, I'm like, I put something on social media the other day, and I said, most days I feel like Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes. And like, I've got people just reacting to me in the audience, and I'm like, I don't care. It's fine. It's jokes. I'm making you think. That's all I'm here to do. I'm just here to say what I got to say, and it's my opinion, and it's okay. That's what social media is about. I run into opinions I disagree with all day long, and I don't necessarily feel the need to change their minds.
Yeah.
But I can engage with someone, and then we can high five afterwards and hug it out and have a beer, whatever else. But to me, I look at all those things like I'm here to challenge and be challenged and grow.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people miss that boat. Like, you are trying to grow your business, and you're trying to let everybody know what you're about and what you think. And I know you've known you all long enough to know that y'all are in this for the purpose of doing what y'all think is the best and what's right for everybody involved.
Correct.
Y'all believe that you're going to be helping out these people who are listing and selling their houses because that's what they deserve. Mm-hmm. And then you think that the agents that are going to work with you guys are going to be more successful and more productive if they work with you guys. And so, we had this conversation with another real estate professional, and the perception of what he does is different than what his true intentions are, And it's because people have spun it in a way that they, whatever they want.
People can always spin anything.
Yeah.
Oh, will they?
And they will, One of the things we had started 1% lists. Prior to starting it, we were already using this model. We just weren't screaming it from the rooftops. Mm-hmm. When we created 1% lists and started screaming it from the rooftops, I got hate mail delivered to my mailbox. Mm-hmm. Handwritten hate mail, hand delivered to the mailbox.
Yep.
With my kids at home. Yeah. And it just it causes you to stop and, think what's going on? Why is this?
So the only reason...
Why is 1% lists and what our model is? Why is it causing someone to go out of their way and be nasty?
Yeah.
The only reason it ever got started to begin with, the only reason we created the company was because we were already doing this model and I loved it. Whenever Kelly and I became licensed, I mean, dude, when I tell you we walked neighborhoods, we did open houses, we knocked doors, we cold called. We got trick-or-treat bags printed and put them on every single door in multiple neighborhoods. Like, you name it, we didn't. Like, we did it, everything. And we had moved to a new area where we knew nobody and nothing worked. And what it seemed like the industry expected of us was to do the same thing as everybody else. But yet we walk into the office and here's hundreds of other agents doing the same thing we do. Only they've got a track record, they've got experience, and they have clients, and they have families here. So how are we supposed to win? And so it wasn't until we got hooked up with a home builder, and they didn't want to pay 6%, but they loved us. That's when we started changing our model. And once we started changing our model, that's when people started giving us backlash. Even though we were not discounting a buyer side commission, we were just taking less on our side because it started getting us business. And whenever we started doing that, we started getting pushback. And then we switched to a different brokerage to get kind of out of that office atmosphere where we were getting that pushback. Even though it wasn't from our broker. Let me make that clear. Like, our broker, we started our careers at Ladder and Bloom. We love Cheryl McAdams. She was our broker. I still love Cheryl McAdams. I think she's absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. She never said, you're not allowed to do this. But she said, you're going to get pushback. And you're going to become known for this. And you need to make sure you're okay with that. And the more we thought about it, we're like, yeah, we're okay with that. We're actually thrilled with that. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And so, we switched to a brokerage where we didn't have the office atmosphere and we had total freedom, and we expanded the program. And every time we did, we were happier. We were doing more deals. We were no longer trying to find a deal. We were more monetarily successful. And our clients loved it.
And it also allowed us to forge those relationships with our clients that some of them are even long lasting today to where they became friends.
But the problem is every time, our value got better to the client, we made more money, got more busy, which is what we wanted. We signed up to do deals. We just didn't sign up to door knock and cold call and all those things. And I think that's why a lot of agents flunk out. It's not because they don't know what to do. It's because they get into this industry because they're like, look, I want to meet clients. I want to show houses. I want to list homes. I want to do all these things. And they're like, okay, great. Now call 100 people and you'll get one appointment.
Yeah.
They don't want to be telemarketers. And we didn't. And so we were happier. We were busier. We were more productive. We were making more money. And our clients loved it. But we kept being told, you're bad for the industry. And that's when we finally had enough. And we're like, it's impossible for us to be happier and more successful and more profitable and our clients to love it, but bad for the industry. If that's the case, there's something wrong with the industry.
Yeah.
And that's why we created this. And I mean, some people might not like me, some people may like me, but what you'll learn about me is if I think I'm doing the right thing, the more you tell me not to do it, the louder I'm going to be. Just because I feel like it's the right thing. So somehow we're here.
So let's go into what y'all's bio real
Wait,
quick.
before we switch, though, I want to know what is here. Tell us what has happened. Right? You talked about creating this brokerage, but now you've franchised it.
It's funny how that happened. We were clients of this company called Follow Up Boss. It's a CRM.
Yeah.
And we had been pretty successful. And Follow Up Boss made a post on their social media page belittling discount brokers. And Kelly saw it. And Kelly reached out to them. And Kelly's like, some of your clients are discount brokers and you shouldn't be talking bad about us. And so they did a very cool thing. And we're still clients of Follow Up Boss to this day. They're like, we would love to interview whoever the hell we should interview. And she's like, talk to Grant. So they interviewed me. That interview's still out there. If anybody wants to look it up, just Follow Up Boss, 1% list, Grant Clayton. But at the end of it, she's like, this is the weirdest realtor interview I've ever done in my life. She's like, what are your future plans? And we're like, well, you never know. We might franchise in a couple of years. And the next day we had like 2 or 3 people reach out.
I was sitting in car line to pick up my kids,
Yeah.
and I got a call from Florida saying, hey, I just read your interview with Follow Up Boss, and how do I go about buying a franchise?
A guy named Jordan from Kentucky reached out to me, and I was like, wow, I guess I better figure this out.
Yeah. Wow. And so what year was that? Was that the same year y'all franchised?
That was
That
2019.
was 2019.
Because we
and then
started
we started
franchising,
franchising
yeah.
in 2020.
Yep.
Very cool.
And so obviously y'all are the owners of 1% List, right? Y'all been doing real estate for longer.
I love how we finally got to that, like 15 minutes
let's
into the
get
podcast.
Jonah's
Now we're
gonna
going
have
to
his
introduce you.
Yeah.
Jonah's gonna have his work cut
the way
out.
it should
Yeah.
be.
That'll be
Thank you,
right.
Jonah.
Hey, Jonah, take this in the back and put it in front.
So Kelly and Grant Clayton, owners of 1% List. That's what we're having a conversation with today. Got in real estate in 2011, and in 2015 they started their own company called 1% List. Franchised that company in 2020, and since then have sold 53 franchises, which is pretty incredible. And in 2020, y'all were the number 3 fastest growing brokerages.
Not
on the
of all
500.
Number 3 fastest growing privately held brokerage.
Gotcha.
He hadn't gotten to that one yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the which is really cool because I think knowing that Kelly is a veteran is also awesome. I have a special place in my heart for military veterans. The number 40 fastest veteran-owned companies in 2022. Top 500 fastest growing company in 2016 to 2020. Where was that at?
Nationwide. Yeah, I think we were number 4 in Louisiana that year.
Gotcha. And then the number 3 fastest privately held brokerage in 2016 to 2020. Very cool.
Which is weird, and it's kind of where the industry is going. So you have the 2 companies in the country that were privately owned that grew faster than us in that time frame. One of them was Homey, and Homey does the same thing Redfin does, but they've since gone out of business. And one of them was a company called Big Block. And Big Block, from what I understand, is they're out of California, and they're 100% brokerage. So they're letting agents basically keep, I think they charged agents like $200 or $300 a deal. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's something really small. And so at the end of the day, the only companies that grew faster than us was another company doing what we did, but they just took on a bunch of debt to do it, which we haven't done. And then there's another company that was doing what we do, only instead of providing the value to the public and the consumer, they're providing value to the agent. And so at the end of the day, I think this is something that gets lost. Like, nobody really understands all this technology made it possible to run a more efficient brokerage. Everyone took that efficiency and said, let's cut the splits, let's cut the caps, let's let agents keep more money, let's give them a pyramid like recruiting thing, let's give them stock, let's pull in the agent. We did the same thing, but I said, let's give the value to the consumer. Let's give the value to the public.
I think we also add value to our agents as well.
Oh,
So
we
it's-
do, but it's in an indirect way. It's by, here's the thing, if you want to make your, not to interrupt, but if you want to make your employees happier, make your clients happier, because now your employees are going to have a better interaction. It's like,
More opportunity to make more money.
well, it's not even that. It's like, if your clients are doing business with you, feeling like they're getting overcharged and feeling like they're not being well represented, guess what? Your employees are going to have an awful day because they're interacting with people that are unhappy. So by giving the public something that it wants, the customer something that it wants, it makes the agent a lot more happy because the agent feels like, oh, I can just do what I signed up to do, which is transactions.
Yeah.
Mutually beneficial relationship.
Right. I just get to do more of what I wanted to do,
Right.
you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's the byproduct of it is agents become happier and more profitable. But we're doing that through the public, which is hard for a lot of agents to understand, apparently.
Yeah.
Or maybe they
Well,
just
it's
need
becoming more clear right now.
Yeah, it's good. It should.
So in the marketing opportunity, and a lot of people ask me, and maybe y'all can answer this question. I get the call all the time from an agent saying, I'm thinking about joining this brokerage, or I'm thinking about joining this team. And my answer always is to them, I can't answer that question. The only person who can answer that question is you. And you have to start by writing out a list of things you're good at and things that you need support at. And then you need to look at your value set to know whether, first of all, do you fit and align with the values of that brokerage?
Right.
The next thing you have to do is walk in there and say, these are the things that I need help. What do y'all do to offer to support me here? Because I can handle this other stuff. And so when an agent's going to look at joining 1% list, or a broker is looking to buy a franchise, what do y'all give them that would maybe support somebody in a weak area of their business?
I think it would depend on what that weak area is. One of the hardest things to accept for me is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. There's a ton of agents that can be very great and very productive and attain their dreams in real estate, but they just don't have the drive. If they just need a little push and a direction in the right direction, great. But then there's some that just want you to do it for them. And it can't be done.
Yeah.
Same true for most entrepreneurs. I share those sentiments intimately.
So me and Kelly are going to have very different takes on this because Kelly is...
No, never.
Well, here's the thing, and it's not so much that I disagree with what Kelly's saying. It's just that Kelly's looking at it from a different angle. Kelly is, just being honest, like a lot of people see me as Grant's the face of 1% list, Grant's the whatever of 1% list. But if it was just me, we wouldn't be where we are because it wouldn't scale. I'm not the person that's going to handle all these minute details that's going to make it possible for something to grow. I'm the person with all the crazy, wild ideas that's in front of things. I'm creating chaos that Kelly organizes on a daily basis, which is probably a lot less glorious. But you probably get a less hate mail than I do, just to be fair.
Thank you, Kelly, for your service.
But yeah, thank you for your service twice.
So what was worse, right?
Right, exactly. I guarantee it's me.
Military service or your husband.
It's got to be me. But anyways, for me, it's, I'm having these conversations with agents on a daily basis. So I'm not looking at it the way a broker is like Kelly. And I'm not looking at it as somebody who is structuring the company like Kelly. From our standpoint, I asked somebody a very simple question. I asked them very simply, and I jokingly say this, pretend I'm the ugliest Disney fairy godmother in history, but I'm a real estate fairy godmother, and I can wave a magic wand right now, and I could give you one listing at 3%, or 3 equally priced listings at 1%. Which one would you choose? I've asked hundreds of agents that question across the country. Every single one of them says, I want 3 listings. At which point I say, great. So you understand what we do. You understand why we do it. You understand the value of it. Now it's just, how do we do it? It's really all that's left. Because at the end of the day, like the first listing that we took, all right, so here's a crazy story for you. First listing that we took whenever we were at our first brokerage, and I'm tying this in. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? It was right around the corner from us. It was a very nice house. It was a relocation deal. So the relocation company pays a commission. So I walked in there, first ever listing appointment, and I walked out with an 8% listing agreement signed for a nice house, okay? And the reason was, I told him, I was like, so the relocation company's paying the commission? Let's do 8%. And he's like, heck yeah, let's do 8%. So I got a call from the relocation company saying, we'll only pay you 7. I was like, okay, pay me 7. So I was getting 3.5% on my first ever listing. I can remember walking into the office for the Wednesday morning office meeting, and all these agents are high-fiving me, saying, wow, you're making us look bad, because they would write the commissions on the wall so all the agents could see it. And whenever they wrote it, I'm like, why? Like, why am I making y'all look bad? They're like, look at the big fee you got. And that was the first time I felt a little funny, because I was like, y'all don't know this is a relocation deal. All you know is I beat somebody out of more money. And that's what you're high-fiving me about, which made me feel a certain way. But we got the house sold. Ironically, the agent on the other side of the deal is now one of my best friends. We actually live down the street from one another. But the relocation company took 40%, and then our broker took 50% because it was a relo deal. Mm-hmm. And that was the splits back in the day. And we walked away with 1% off of a 3.5% side. That was our take home. And I immediately thought, what the hell are we doing here? Why are agents fighting for these deals? Okay. And that's when I got frustrated, because I felt like agents want these super easy deals that are funneled to them, but they're not, I mean, they're discounting themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care. And some people get frustrated by this, and I'm sorry, but if you take a relocation deal and you're giving up half the money to the relocation company, you're a discount agent. You're giving up half your money to be given a deal. If you sign up for Zillow Flex, if you sign up for Upnest, if you sign up for all these services that are like, we'll give you deals, but give us 40%, you're a discount agent. You're basically saying, I'm willing to make less money if somebody just gives me an easier deal. So I feel like we're doing the same thing, but instead of giving it to a middleman, I'm just letting the client keep it. Okay? Which to me feels better than having multiple hands in a cookie jar for our first deal with a relocation company and everybody else, or having Zillow, which is worth billions of dollars. Like, I feel better doing it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense. And how many of y'all's clients have actually reached back out to y'all, been upset that y'all have saved them money on a listing?
0.
None.
Yeah.
So you want to hear a wild story? And
we do.
I'll be quick with this one. This is something that happened. Every real estate coach out there teaches build a brand for yourself, build a brand for yourself. You know, that's the big Tom Ferry way. We had somebody earlier this year that Stacia currently has their house listed. Somebody reached out to us earlier this year, and it's an inbound lead saying, hey, I want to list my house, which, by the way, we get every single day. And like the most recent one was from Maricopa County, Arizona, where I have not a single office, but it's people reaching out saying, would you please come list my house? Like, imagine what that's like, getting a notification on your phone. I need to talk to someone about selling my house, please. It's a very different way of doing your business. If you like being busy, it's great. But anyways, I completely lost where I was going there.
Stacia has that.
Oh yeah, Stacia has a house listed. It was a client that they reached out. They wanted to sell their house in Beatico Creek. And I said, oh, awesome. Do you want me to tell you how we work? And they're like, no, we've used you before. And I was like, who was your agent? And they said, oh, it was her, but she doesn't work for y'all anymore. So we just want somebody who works on 1% lists. And it was like, they were not loyal to the agent, which is interesting. They were loyal to the brand. And
Concept.
It's a very different thing, because most agents understand that my clients are going to follow me wherever I go. So that's why they go from a company that takes more splits to a company that takes less splits, because they know their clients are going to follow.
Yeah.
With us, they're loyal to the brand.
So let me ask you this question. I know, and
Sure.
we've talked about this before. You, the agents that come over and work for you guys, knowing that whole idea, that the people, the brand is going to attract the clients, not necessarily your face or your name on that sign. How do you recommend agents really come to 1% list, brand themselves and market themselves, and talk about the level of humility, I guess is a good way of saying it, that agents have to like process in order to be able to take on the brand and actually be productive with it?
Well, I think when you have a new agent that comes to this model, first you kind of have to reteach them that, okay, you're not going to push yourself as Susie agent. You're going to push the brand, 1% lists, and the value proposition. From that, you're already pushing Susie agent. And that's all you need to do.
We are in the convincing the world we exist business. I met with 2 agents yesterday, and he's like, so how do you market yourself? And I'm like, all right, imagine you're a lender and you have a 3% interest rate right now. How do you market yourself? He's like, well, I'm a lender with a 3% interest rate. I was like, boom, you nailed it. I'm a full service experienced agent that's going to charge you 1/3 of what most agents charge. And agents can quibble about whether it's 1/3 or 1/2. I don't know what every agent charges. That's the point. Okay, which I think we're finally getting to, which is a good thing. But hey, I'm a full service agent that sells tons of homes, and I charge 1%. I mean, hi, I exist. It's a lot easier than every other agent that's perceived as doing the same thing for the same fee. And I think that's where a lot of agents get lost. They don't realize, from the public standpoint, what's the difference between an agent and all these companies? Nothing. They charge the same thing to do the same fee. And just because no one's ever advertised a different fee. So that's what the public sees. That's what they think. That's why these lawsuits happened.
So what? And on a similar vein, like when y'all and a lot of people say, or have said in the past, that y'all are being a discount brokerage, you get less service. So talk about what y'all do whenever you're helping teach your agents how to list houses. What is y'all's mentality if y'all are listing your own houses to try to promote the deal?
We do everything that your traditional big box brokerage does. We are your fiduciary. You are our client. We are representing you with getting what you want. So in that, we're going to do a CMA on your property. We're going to hire professional photography. We're going to input your listing on the MLS. We're going to field showing time requests through an app. Well, I guess it depends on where you're located.
Yeah.
But you're going to field showing time requests. You're going to field offers. You're going to negotiate. You're going to get them to the closing table.
Some of our agents
offer open houses. Some of our agents offer
Listing videos.
But at the end of the day, the open houses aren't going to be what's going to sell your property. Look at COVID. COVID is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Houses were still selling, even though you couldn't go in and tour homes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, it's exactly right. It's like if open houses and broker tours were the big needle mover, then everything would have slowed down during COVID because we weren't allowed to do them.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
If I told you, Jared, you have to move tomorrow, would you immediately call Stephanie and say, honey, we have to move? I'm going to really need you to go to PJ's and pick up a magazine. No. There's, in fact, Navarre did a study called Real Estate in the Digital Age. And what that study found was that over 99% of people that are Generation X and below shop online for real estate, and over 97% of people that are baby boomers shop online for real estate. It's literally, it's changed so much. 20 years ago, it was, honey, we need to move. Oh my gosh, call Susie, our realtor, and have them come out and do a market analysis. And we need to do this and this and this. Now it's, honey, you think we ought to move? I don't know. Go on Zillow, see what our house is worth, even though it's wrong. And then let's start shopping for houses. And so, it's totally upended the way we've done things. But shockingly or not shockingly, the industry hasn't changed. It just hasn't changed. We're still doing the same things. And, I think if you told the typical real estate agent that at a listing appointment, look, I want you to do open houses and broker tours and magazine spreads, but you're not allowed to pass out anything. You're not allowed to let anyone sign up. You're not allowed to do any of those things. You're just there to act as the listing agent for the house. I think all those marketing forms would go away tomorrow. I mean, they are the most expensive, most labor intensive, and least useful forms of marketing there are. They just are. I mean, it just doesn't move the needle. I mean, imagine you're moving and you found a perfect house, but then you realized it's not randomly open from 12 to 3 on a Saturday. Are you going to be like, sorry, honey, this is off the list? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you're going to book an appointment.
So how much do y'all offer your agents when it comes to online marketing? Because I know that y'all believe in online marketing. Yeah. So talk about that. Like, how valuable is online marketing to you and your agents, and how do y'all support your agents when it comes to their online presence?
We have an in-house graphic design team that will create marketing materials personalized for each individual agent.
Yes.
So it's a short form that they would fill out and send in a picture of the house, what the price is, any tidbits that they want to advertise on that marketing material.
That graphic, yeah.
And then within 24 hours, they've got it in their email and they can blast it everywhere.
All of our agents get KV Core for free, so they all get a free website. They all get a free CRM. We brought on a KV Core specialist out of San Diego who does pretty amazing things. Like if you want to run home value lead campaigns that automatically triggers targeted postcards to anybody who wants their home value, that features our value proposition with QR codes and YouTube retargeting, he does it.
How do QR codes work? I'm
Basically,
just kidding.
right.
We do.
You know,
we have them on the screen sometimes in the closing room.
Yeah,
but
and
isn't it
people are like,
interesting
hang
to be
on,
like, this
what?
is
I'll pull out
creative?
my camera to scan this? But yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, whatever can help our agents let their sphere know that they exist and this is what we do, that's what we do. But that's why we don't feature open houses and things like that. It's like, it's not needle movers for our agents. And really,
I
that's
mean,
why
some of
people
your
do
agents
them.
can.
Yeah,
right?
they
all
do.
of our agents can absolutely,
Like, we've
choose
supported
what they
some of them.
choose what they want to do.
Well, so there's two things to that. First of all, I think that if you just think about it practically, if you have a good listing video, and we talk about this all the time. We try to push people so
If
often.
I support an open house, the first thing I do when I get there, hug everybody. You know, I like a good hug. But then I'm going to take a video of it myself and put some music to it and making a reel for them, like immediately. Because
Ashley Callahan.
That matters.
Ashley Callahan was our biggest producer last year. She did 74
Go,
transactions.
Ashley.
Yes, Ashley's a badass, and she did 74 deals last year without picking up the phone and without buying a lead and all that stuff. It's just like she's answering inbound calls and she's making social media content, and that's what works. And you know, I think she'll occasionally do an open house. Some of our agents love doing open houses. I don't have a problem with agents doing open houses. I don't have a problem with anybody that does an open house. I have a problem when somebody goes in and tells a home seller, oh, you've got to do open houses or your house is not going to sell. It's like, I just want truth, honesty, and transparency. And let the chips fall where they may. That's all I want. And so, you know, we have agents that make a fortune off of doing open houses. God bless them. I want you to do it. If you like doing it, do it.
But I'll tell you this.
But be honest about it.
Well, I just think it's because most agents aren't willing to put in the effort that it takes to do a quality open house.
I would
Like,
agree
to do a
with that.
quality open house, you call all your friends, everybody that you want to be associated with, you promote them, and you encourage them all to come, and you have 100 people walk through the house. I have an agent.
If you're asking me if I would like to have 1,000 Daniel Munns, I would love to have 1,000 Daniel Munns.
Daniel can throw an open house.
Daniel can throw an open house like nobody's business.
Daniel did an open house, and he had 3 offers, full price offers on his house, and found 2 buyers out of that open house. But he does it different than everybody else, and he's successful at it. So I think that open houses
Than
work.
most. Than most.
Yeah, I think that. But I believe that.
Why are they done? I'm not going to have you answer that question.
Why or what?
Why are open houses done?
To make the sellers feel as though they're doing something to move the needle.
A cynical person would say. I'm not saying you're saying that.
No, I mean,
But
Open houses are done so that the agent can try and grab buyers.
that's why they're typically done. I mean, it's
to boost the agent.
Yeah, it's meet the neighbors, maybe grab a buyer, things like that. And look, here's the thing: as a totally comprehensive marketing plan, is that important? Look, if I paid somebody 6% to sell my house, of course, you're doing it all, and you better pull the weeds and you better put down mulch and everything else. Like I expect, that I expect all of it. But the question is does it help? We had an agent, I won't name a name, but we had an agent bashing us on our social media page the other day. I looked up her stats. We sell houses 4 times faster than her as far as days on market for like 12% higher price to list, despite the fact she's on our social media page telling us that we're half-assed and we're limited service and everything else. So here's the thing. I think the question is if you're a buyer, what do you value more? Do you value the open house? Or would you rather get a more cost-effective agent and then the seller can afford to pay $10,000 in closing costs? Or the seller can afford to buy down your interest rate for 2 years? Or your seller can afford to give you a renovation allowance? Imagine you get feedback that came through on your house saying, love the house but hate the colors. If I'm saving you $12,000, hey seller, how about we offer them an $8,000 painting allowance with an acceptable offer? And now, boom, we made an offer happen.
$8,000 for painting? Should we start painting?
I mean, it's probably more profitable than what We all do. Exactly. But it's one of those things where it's like now you can make an offer appear out of thin air. It's not necessarily just about saving money. Okay, we tell everybody, if you got a great house, great location, look, everybody's going to want to see it. You're just going to keep more of your equity. But if you got a house that's harder to sell, do you need the open house and the magazine spread, or do you need some tools that our savings can provide? What's going to be a bigger needle mover for a buyer? And I mean, it's obvious how we feel. Now, we might be wrong, and that's why they sell Fords and Chevys. But, we're just doing something different.
I think that's the key is it's solving a problem, right? So if you put your values out there and your game plan and people like it, they come to you, you solve their problems, they're happy, expectations are set.
I tell people all the time because when all this craziness came down with all the lawsuits recently, somebody posted something out there and I screenshot it and I shared it and I'm like, look, obviously some people still aren't getting it. And I had an agent respond who I very much respect. And she's like, we just all need to support each other. And I'm like, no, we don't. I respect you and I hope you're successful. But the reason your smartphone doesn't suck is because Apple and Android are fighting every day. That's why you got a good smartphone in your pocket. So here's the thing. If they were just trying to be friends, your smartphone would suck. It'd still be a flip phone and you'd be playing the worm game. But you're not.
It was a good feeling.
You know what I'm saying?
The worm.
I don't know. I guess
Now we have flip phones that actually open up like a
Right, a
damn
whole book.
tablet. Now, why did that happen? Because everyone's fighting, trying to give you a better phone. They're not trying to be friends.
I disagree with
Forcing
you. I think that we can still support everybody in the industry. At the end,
That's why everyone likes Kelly and not me, but that's fine.
but at the end of the day,
Sure.
And I just think it comes down to what's the definition of support. Because I think both are support, right?
Bingo.
Like Jared and I support each other and we're harder on each other than anybody else that
Bingo.
steps foot in any of our buildings. But that's how we support one another. It goes back to our kid conversation,
Listen,
right? How does that?
My home away from home is Arena, and every time I come here, the usual suspects are closing houses. And you know what happens? They're happy to see me, and I hug them out, like specifically Daniel and a lot of these other people. I'm like, bro, what do you know? You're closing another friggin' property at Arena. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for y'all. I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not mad. God bless him. People like him make us sharp.
Yeah.
Like people like Felicity and her team make us sharp. But we also make them sharp.
All quality agents will.
And that's
All
part of
quality agents
support
will do
too.
that.
Like that's you're not winning a national championship as a football team by hugging it out and being friends in the weight room. You're in there beating the crap out of one another. It's how it works. And it's okay.
I don't
Beating
know.
each other with respect, though, right?
Yes.
I think everybody can be respectful towards everybody else.
Have to be. Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, somebody's true person and values shows through their actions.
100%.
And
I think-
I always tell my
Love
kids,
that.
actions speak louder than words.
And the
I
thing-
agree. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna shut up. I completely agree.
No, you're not.
Here's the yin to our yang. Okay, me and Kelly could have a reality show. Here's the yin to
No.
the yang. You're right.
If Kelly allowed you to have a reality show.
Right. Fair enough. Honey, can I have a reality
No.
show? Okay, fine. She kicked me at a company meeting yesterday. I
I
was like,
did.
did y'all see that? I just got kicked.
Kelly, I don't even know what was said, but thank you.
I did.
Yeah, I appreciate
Because
it.
he
I
was saying
appreciate it
something
too.
wrong.
It's fine.
That was support.
That's fair. Yeah. But anyways, here's the point. It's like all the lawsuits that are happening, we don't need to go into all that, but all the lawsuits that are happening and all that stuff, it's because at some point you're making a choice. I'm either entrepreneur, pioneer, going all out for my clients, and I'm planting my flag there, or I'm on team industry. And I'm more worried about what my peers think. And I'm more worried about supporting the industry and what that represents. I've had so many people say, oh, well, you can't be 1% less. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, that's Sherman antitrust. And I say, why? And they're like, well, you are talking about commissions and naming a commission. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that I'm colluding with the industry to artificially inflate a price? No, I think I'm doing the opposite of that, sir. And so, we can be supportive of one another. Like Kelly's talking about. Like we can be supportive of one another. Every time I see Daniel here, I high five him. I'm hugging every agent or,
I think
telling
we
them great job.
identified a man crush. Did we identify a man crush?
You know what? No one's supposed to know about that. Are we breaking news right now? But either way, it's like, I want everybody to be successful. Do your thing. That's fine. I can support you. But at the same time, I can also try to beat your brains out on a daily basis with my business model because at the end of the day, I feel what we do is better for the client. And so I want to win. And so I can respect you and hope you do well. But at the same time, I want to beat the brakes off of you every single day I wake up. And there's nothing wrong with
Every
that.
industry has businesses that operate.
What other title company do y'all root for?
different models.
Jared, what title company are you rooting for in
I
Arena?
think that Crescent Title's a great title company.
There are a lot of great title companies, but it is true.
Can
too.
you imagine yourself calling one of them and saying, look, man, we just got to support each other? Are those words ever going to come out of
No,
your mouth?
because our actions already show it.
Yeah.
If we walk into a room, it happened recently. We're at an event and we're able to, like you said, you see them, you hug them,
Right.
you're talking, seeing how you can solve problems and respect one another.
Push
It's
comes
a
to
good thing to
shove.
see that.
If you're going to cut your cost to make a deal work, are you going to do that to get a deal done?
Yeah, we do it every day.
Okay, so why are you doing that? Because you believe in the long-term value of a client and a relationship,
1,000%.
and you believe you're the better title company for them.
We are. I love and respect the others, but we are the best.
Yeah.
So I think
We all can be in the same room in the same place, and we all get along.
And I think that's
So why am I the
hope-
most disliked
I
person
hope
in
they
real
think
estate?
they're
I'm
the
not
best.
sure.
Right.
If they didn't think they're the best, I'd be like, let's sit down and talk about
Right.
this. And I
Right.
would want them to feel the same way.
And I guess that's where it goes back to support. We can, as real estate agents, we do get a lot of trolls on our social media. You just have to, we do have a thick skin, but at the end of the day, if you're going to come onto my page and bash my model or bash my agents or spread mistruths, then I'm going to have to respond respectfully and let you know where you are misguided.
And I'm going to shine
And I
a
will ask
spotlight on
you-
you and hold a mirror in front of your face. Is
And
what I'm going to
at
do.
the same time, I'll ask you, I would be happy to go get a cup of coffee with you and explain what we do. But it doesn't need to be on a social platform.
I think that's a respectful mama bear response.
And this is why we're different. It's like, I'm like, all right, let's have this smoke. That's me. I grew up playing sports. I was a coach. Like, that's me. My wife is the sweet, nice one that wants to talk you back on like, hey, why don't you delete that post and we can have a coffee and
The
chat.
sweet,
And-
nice, lethal one.
Oh,
My
my
dad always
gosh.
said, don't worry
If
about
you-
the guy ripping off his shirt. Worry about the one that's calmly taking off
Oh
his
my
watch.
God.
Yeah.
That's Kelly.
We don't have enough time in this podcast.
But
I love that.
I
Much
think
respect.
at the end of the day, if you can't show that you're being respectful to others, it's saying a lot about yourself.
100%.
And
Yes.
you've given yourself your own rope. I can just kind of sit back.
Yeah.
But at the
We've
end,
been the subject of that recently.
I just
But
you look
he-
back and you see somebody like they're normal. They're just another human being who are trying to support their family and raise their kids and do the right thing. And so, I mean, there's obviously if they're lacking the background of integrity, then that's a little bit different conversation. But like truly, if everybody's working really hard to do the right thing, to go and tear somebody down and attack somebody personally and make them look bad, like that's where
Always
it gets.
unwarranted,
Yeah.
it's unwarranted. But so much. Look, in real estate, you have a lot of opportunities to rise above and speak directly to somebody, or kind of cower and send them in for a fine.
Look,
When I see errors, because we're all human, we're all going to make mistakes. When I see errors on the MLS, I will politely email the agent or call that agent and say, hey, I think you need to look at this. I think this is wrong. I could be wrong, but if I'm not, I don't want you to get popped. We've had issues with other brokerages with their brokers and or agents. And instead of me going and filing complaints, which are legitimate and they can be reprimanded for, I would rather solve that with either their broker if they're an agent or the owner if they're the broker, and say, okay, guys, this is what I've received. This is where I could go with it, but I really would rather not. I don't want your agent to get a slap on the hand or a fine, because at the end of the day, they're trying to support themselves. You're trying to support yourself and your agents, as well as I'm trying to do that for mine.
you know who did that best? Misty Lopez pulled me aside at one of y'all's things at Covington Beer Garden. And she's like, when are these agents going to understand that they're just giving you what you want when they engage with you on social media? And I'm like, you're a smart girl, Misty. And she is.
She is a smart lady.
She is brilliant. And look,
Very nice.
I guess my point is this. A lot of people don't understand what's going on with the industry right now. They don't understand how all this could happen. They don't understand all these things.
Could that be from a lack of guidance?
It could be from a lack of guidance, but here's the thing. Last year, so many agents, between skyrocketing interest rates and skyrocketing insurance, had very horrible years. We just had the Neighbor Awards. I think which the awards are given out based on GCI, which I think is a little weird, but I think it's kind of awesome because I think 5 individual agents got the Platinum Award for top GCI. 2 of them worked for us. If Stacia was not so humble, she would have been 3 out of 6. Do you think a single agent reached out to me or Kelly afterwards and said, how are y'all making more money than us by charging less money? No, that didn't happen, which will tell you a lot. Like, okay, let me put this shoe on your foot. If there was a title company charging dramatically less than y'all were charging, but making substantially more money than y'all, would y'all want to know what they're doing?
I would evaluate the model.
Yeah.
So hang on. So you would show some curiosity?
Absolutely.
You would want to know?
Yeah, I just
Well,
think my mind first goes to how much.
Let me tell you a true story.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
tell you a
saying
true
I would
story.
adopt it, but I said, you would always
Right.
look
But
into
how
it.
can you not want to know? I mean, here's the thing. I tell everyone, I'm an open book. If you want to learn everything that we do and how we do it, call me. I'll tell it to you. I'll tell you everything. I won't hide a thing. And so here's the thing. I mean, I respect the hell out of Felicity Kahn's team. If she invites me to hang out at a team meeting, I must show up, and that might be the only time in my life I've ever taken notes. I am, because I respect the hell out of what they do.
You know, wear a blazer and everything. Like they
Dude,
do.
I will put on a pantsuit.
They look good. Yeah. You don't have to get ready.
I don't know if I could pull off the heels. I could probably do flats. But it's like,
How about heels with a sandbag?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know what that is.
A legit sandbag. Lauren was carrying a legit sandbag and heels.
Oh, out here for that
I
thing
did.
y'all are doing?
No, they were. Yeah, no, they were doing.
So it's like, so Stacia's son-in-law, Chad Roig, his first year with us in Destin, he sold like $24 million as a brand new agent, 28 years old, and made like over $400K. And I started trying to recruit agents over there. Do you know how many of them said, I don't know, I've been taught not to devalue myself. I've been taught to know my worth. I'm like, good, go sit across from Chad. He made 8 times what you made. Go tell him he's devaluing himself. Go tell him he doesn't know his worth. Go do it. But it's like, they don't even think. It's just, that's the knee-jerk response. That's what I've been trained to say. And that's scary. Technology is innovating so quickly in real estate. How are we not innovating with our brains? How is diversity of thought and business plan not allowed in this industry? Mm-hmm. How have so many people tried to get us fined? So many people tried to shut us down. So many people did whatever they could do to silence what we do.
Because change is fearful.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you're either going to anticipate change, accept it and adapt, and then continue on through that journey and learn through that process, and then get ready to do it all over again. Life is always changing, and that's the scary part.
Learning is not scary.
Change is scary for a lot of people.
most, change is a problem.
But
It's not for you if that's your natural personality type, but for most it is.
yeah, and there's always opportunity, no matter what's happening. You just got to be able to pivot and move with the market to make sure that you're in front of it and find the opportunity instead of sitting and waiting and saying I'm not going to do it and fighting the change. Roll with it and figure it out. And a lot of people are looking for the end result and thinking that's going to help them be satisfied or be happy. But at the end of the day, people who truly are open and looking for opportunities to grow are constantly doing that, and they just like that part of the process.
That's how our relationship grew, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know that we ever intended to work together the way that we do. But when I agreed to have this very minimal role in helping, add real estate to my existing practice, it's just I kept identifying things, so I'd call him because that was my point man, and I'm like, hey, what if I did this way, or what if we did that way? It's just every time a challenge arises, it's an opportunity to be more efficient, opportunity to be better, opportunity to pivot, and we have that same level of crazy, I guess. So
Who would have thought all
Here we
all
are.
these years later you're babysitting Jared? Who would have thought
Yeah.
all
Still.
these?
I
Right.
tricked her. The
we got
6
2
years
gold
ago,
stars
working in-
today. And
I mean,
and then I send his lashings to Stephanie, and somehow
Yep.
that works out.
You better be on your best behavior. You're going to have to move your clip.
Stephanie, he's coming home red today. Handle that, girl.
we what really, I mean, and you're saying that you're remembering the story in a nice way, because it was more of, hey, y'all over there are doing something over here that's making my life more difficult, so I'm going to do things on
say
my
that
end to
rude.
fix it, so I don't have to go through this. And then I was like, no, we're going to fix it so that nobody else has to go through that, and fix it on the front end of all of our processes. And as we started solving problems together and realizing that we could only control certain areas of what we were doing, and making that part of the process really strong, and trying to make the rest of the business grow, we realized that we support each other in different ways, but it was fun because we were looking for opportunities to grow and to get better as the markets were changing, different things were coming at us, and we
You had the same vision.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
well,
We're a
here's,
lot alike in that, and then we're different in how we.
you know what
attack
I'm
it.
seeing, and tell me if y'all are not getting these vibes. You're a lot like Kelly. Jared is a much nicer, approachable version of me.
Yeah. So my.
I mean, would y'all kind of
yeah,
agree with
no,
that?
So
I mean, uber
part of
competitive,
Kelly's
uber wants to win,
highest
but just not,
personality
yeah.
is my second highest. So we are going to overlap in that, right? And then we overlap in one part of my personality as well. I'm also very idea focused, goal driven. And so I like to move fast, and I like for things to do it, but I want it to be absolutely correct, like Kelly does.
So we're talking
I'm
about the
very
disc
meticulous.
scale, and I'm pretty much 100% D,
Yeah.
and then the rest in I, and,
And
you're
Jared's a
100%.
DI.
You're
my eye is higher than yours, so I like to make people. I'm more conscious about.
other people's
Others'
feelings.
feelings.
Makes him nicer.
I mean, you can just say it. You're more conscious about other people's
Well,
feelings.
but I also am in
Yeah.
a different position than you are. Like, I'm at the bottom of the funnel when it comes to the relationship side. Like, generally speaking, every relationship is
So are
important.
you saying when something goes wrong, it's your problem, and when something goes wrong on our side, it's Kelly's problem? Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much.
And-
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm
It's
here for
accurate.
it.
That is accurate.
But like literally, I mean, we have to cater to everybody's relationship, everybody's business, and we support everybody's business.
Sure.
I mean, agents who have a different model than you guys, we support them in the way they need to be supported, and we support you guys in the way they need to be supported, because at the end of the day, as a title company, we're closing transactions no matter what the model
Right.
is, or the real estate agent, or the lender, or the real estate investor. So, and I kind of relate
You
this.
have to be a very, very big tent that appeals to lots of different
100%.
people in different ways,
Yes.
and we don't.
Yeah.
And see, I'm a DC, primary D, secondary C.
What's the C again?
Compliance.
Kelly. Compliance,
Okay.
meticulous. Their biggest fear is being wrong, so they pay a lot of
Oh
attention
my
to
God.
details.
Really?
And so I have that crazy balance in my head of I want everything right now, and I want it to be perfect. And so I can drive myself nuts and everyone else, right? And then I also thank you, Jesus, for it. I have an eye that's above the line, so I think that makes me a little bit more tolerable, because that'd be pretty hard. So I truly am.
How was
I'm
Kelly's
a
eye?
mix. It was
It
there.
was pretty minimal.
It was there. Solid CS. But look, S's are people-oriented people as well, and they're extremely loyal. They're almost like the best kind of people, because I's are more related to the impression that they make and how people feel about them,
Mm-hmm.
and S's just care so deeply about how the people that they care about
So
are taken care of.
if you're listening to
It's
this
a
right
beautiful
now
thing.
and you've never taken a disc test, reach out to Jared and Lauren, because when me and Kelly took it and we got our results back, there's literally 4 categories. I was 100% on one and 98% on the other one. Kelly was 100% on the other 2.
Polar opposites.
That I did not touch. We were exact polar opposites, and I basically opened up and read it, and it explained every fight me and Kelly have ever had.
But it, also
it was
shows how you
creepy.
complement one another, right? Without having each other to be that balance, whether you want to accept it or not, that's how you balance each other out, right?
Definitely.
There's a beauty to it. I mean, it made me chuckle as soon as we got your results before I sent it. I was like, oh.
Another way, kind of
Like we were shocked to see this,
I was
right?
like, oh, those discussions are fun.
It's another way of relating, and kind of an analogy to what we're talking about here today. It's like the way that Lauren and I have to run our business, and it tends to play a lot of my personality is that we have to solve problems for every aspect of any area of the business. And so, like, one thing that everybody was worried about right when I got into the business was wholesaling. And I thought wholesaling was going to upset the whole real estate industry, and it was going to take business from real estate agents, and it was the worst thing that could have ever happened. But we built a process to handle wholesale transactions at
Which
a very high
agents
level.
are appreciative
Yes,
of because
yes.
y'all are holding the deals together.
Exactly.
Holding them together and keeping agents involved and keeping our market in flux.
Correct.
If we didn't have creative real estate right now, we would have a lot of stagnant properties. And so people being open-minded to understanding how much we respect what an agent does and also respect that there's options is allowing more properties to move.
So it's funny. Somebody who's on the other side of the fence of what we do, but somebody who I respect a ton is Sabrina St. Pierre. And me and her talk quite a bit. She's an awesome person. I respect the hell out of her. And she said she's heard a lot of people complain about us. And she's like, here's the thing. Y'all should be thrilled that Grant and Kelly exist. And they did this because were it not for them, all of these, and people like them, all these lawsuits that are coming to our industry, they would have come much harder and they would have come a long time ago. They were the only ones out there balancing the scale, you know, and she's like, I mean, she ain't joining our brokerage anytime soon. She's doing what she does and she's amazing at it, and God bless her. But she can see that there needs to be choice, and she can see
I
there
think
needs
that's
to
with
be.
anything. There's always going to be options.
Every industry.
Every industry has options. What works for one may not work for another.
Right.
So asking that on that same idea, who's y'all's ideal client? Do y'all have an ideal client at 1%?
Anybody with a house.
So y'all are not focusing on certain areas. It's just y'all are there to support.
Serve the client.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And y'all would say that any of y'all's agents have ideal clients, or is it generally speaking that same exact thing?
No, I mean, look, some of our agents have their sphere, they have their niche. Like
Some
so
of
you
our
can-
agents work more exclusively with veterans through
Yeah.
veterans
and
loans.
some of them
and
seem to know people that are in certain price points because that's just who they travel with and run their sphere. But I mean, I think if you got a house and you like good representation and saving money, that's it.
So y'all believe your model would work in any price point with any agent in any sphere?
So here's the funny thing. We hear it all the time. I wouldn't hire a discount dentist. Okay. And yet the average agent did 2 deals last year. If you needed a root canal, are you going to go see somebody who saw 2 patients last year?
Might not know it.
You might not know it, but if you knew it,
That's right.
would you?
I'd be scared.
Like as they're putting the mask over your face,
Right.
and they told you, "Don't worry, I've done 2 of these." Then you're gonna be like, "Ah!" Like no, okay. So like, here's the thing. We'll have some people who make the argument we're not as good because we're doing a higher volume, and so you don't get that,
that coddling.
that complete coddling that some people want.
But it's
and
about setting expectations
it's 100%
at the beginning when you're at that listing appointment and you're interviewing that client just as much as that client's interviewing you
So
to see, are y'all a good fit?
Here's the funny
Are
thing.
you going to take direction from them? Are they going to take direction from you?
Our-
And setting that expectation of, look, I'm good at my job. I am working in volume, but I'm here for you. I'm not going to call you and ask how breakfast was. But I will call you when there is movement, and I will let you know, hey, if we don't have movement, we need to think about what is the market doing? What is that market dictating? How do we need to pivot?
So here's a question you don't have to answer, but you take Laura Province, Ashley Callahan, Cody Scott, Stacia, our big, huge agents, and we've got them all across the country now. If I were to ask you with the important parts of a transaction, who would you trust more? Would you trust them? Or would you trust an agent that did 4 deals last year, but they're full service, over the top, just 100% white glove? But the problem is they're spending 95% of their time trying to find a deal. When an agent talks about how much they work, what they're really including when they say that I bust my butt, they're including all the time they spend looking for deals. But the time you spend looking for deals is not the time you spend doing a deal. Like all the time you spend out at all these brokerage offices, shaking hands, kissing babies, and at these awards events and everything else.
You do that so well.
He does it
Kiss
so
all the
well.
babies.
I'm telling you.
Am I awake right now, or am I
Can you
sleeping?
imagine if he
Mayor.
dressed up a
The
little bit?
mayor of real estate.
But here's the thing.
Imagine if I dressed up a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Lauren just made
This-
fun
I
of me
mean,
for
dude,
wearing
I'm not me of all
He's
people. I'm
got
not
on
judging.
his Thanksgiving outfit today for us.
I wore this 3 times last week.
Button
You know,
down.
I love your
Yeah.
green dog socks. Is that a dog
It
sock?
was a dog, yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing.
I like
Walt
his
loves
Lucy
these
socks the best.
Do any of those things make you better at closing deals?
What? The different socks and shirts and
No.
No.
Going out, shaking hands,
Your
kissing
marketing.
babies, and all this stuff. It doesn't make you a damn bit better at actually doing your job. And so for a lot of these agents, they include all the time they spend trying to find a deal, but none of that time is spent doing a deal. And so sure, you can make the argument that I'm complete white glove, white linen, blah, blah, blah. I'm over the top service. But, you know, if you go sit in front of Stacia, who's going to close 50, 60 listings in a year, I don't think you're going to be as good at closing a listing as she is. She can run circles around you just because she has so much more market knowledge. She has so much more experience. She knows how to do that. And so
Experience and training matters.
no doubt, but
We can also
in
see
real estate,
and
where do you
feel
get, where do you
where
get
agents
training?
came from,
Where do
you
you
know?
get training in real estate?
In the field.
On the
Depends, yeah, it
on the job. Our new agents, guess what we do with them? We co-list properties with them. You know, that's what we do.
Like a mentorship model.
Yeah, like new agents, co-list this with me. Co-list this with me. Learn how to do this. Learn how to do this. Learn how to do this. And so at the end of the day, believe it or not, how we end our listing presentations is this: with communication. I tell them, you've got my cell phone number. You can call me, text me. If it's 10:30 at night, and you're like, I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't get an answer to this, freaking blow me up.
Can you please give them Kelly's number?
No, Kelly
No,
won't take
thank
that call. She's the broker.
Are you,
But
are
yeah,
you leaning over?
But
and
no,
asking
seriously,
the-
like I tell
the
people, I'm like,
compliance answer?
here's the thing. I literally end a listing presentation with this. I tell them straight up, just like your CPA or anybody else in your life that you have a business relationship with, you're not necessarily hiring your best friend. I'm not going to call you and be like, oh my gosh, the sky is blue. The birds are chirping. My coffee is wonderful. And I have nothing to tell you about the sale of your home. I'm busy selling homes. Because I sell more homes, that means I can be more affordable. And that's why you're hiring me. It's not just because I'm affordable, because I'm damn good at what I do, because I do it so much. And so when I need questions answered, I'm going to blow you up and be like, I need this and this and this because I'm chasing a worm and we're trying to get an offer. Okay? And if you need to talk to me, you need to blow me up. But I'm not going to call you and tell you I have nothing to tell you. Like, we do not train our agents to find an egg and put it in the nest and sit on it. We train them to gather eggs nonstop. Okay? And so if you want to point out one big
It's
difference.
so fitting for Easter weekend. Thank you.
Right? I mean,
Happy
I didn't even
Easter.
think about that, but that's perfect. That's literally what my daughter's going to do on Sunday. But it's such a different way. It's such a different mindset of everything. It's like, you know, don't pay Zillow for buyer leads and then work their sphere and hope to get listing leads one day. Charge less money to get a lot of listings because those people are going to be buying houses. And if you do a good job and save them money, they will tell all their friends. That's the point. That's the point.
So to wrap up,
We wrap it up. I thought we were going for like 2 more hours.
this is not
I could do this all day. I just need another scotchy
Part
scotch.
2. Part 2. Yeah. We'll come.
So if y'all were going to articulate the legacy that you want to leave on this industry, after you've all been said and done, what would that be?
We changed it for the better for the consumer.
I would agree with that. Changing it better.
Whoa. Jonah, if
Same
you edit,
vision?
Jonah, if you edit that out, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
changing the industry better for the consumer, but also I would also hope to say that we've opened the eyes of our fellow agents.
Look,
Look, change is scary. I do not like change either.
she
But-
married the wrong guy.
But
Her disc also says she does not like change.
but I think if you can anticipate it and be ready for it, it's easier to make that change and adapt.
Look, if I told you guys as a title company, you could save your clients money and make more money and be more productive and do more volume, you'd be like, all right, tell me. I want to hear it. Okay? I'm not sitting here telling people that we are the only way real estate should be done. But I think, considering all we've accomplished and all we're going to accomplish, we're probably going to be in 70 markets by the end of the year, if not 80. We're not slowing down. We're speeding up. Okay? And more agents than ever have reached out to us and said, I'm curious. I used to go, so I made a post on social media recently. Somebody was asking questions about commissions, and an agent was set to get 15 grand. And I asked the question, what the hell did an agent do to be worth half of a teacher's salary? And normally I would have had 100 out of 100 agents hating me, but instead it was only like 96. And 4 of them reached out and was like, all right, this is interesting because I literally I jumped in the middle of the fray and I threw a rock at everybody and I'm like, come at me, bro.
Shocking.
I'm like, come at me, bro. Let's chat.
It was a rounded rock without points, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I just throw them all
'Cause of
360
support,
really
right?
fast. But I'm like for real though, but I'm like, hey guys, boom, think different, be different. It's okay. Okay. And privately, like a lot of agents reached out and was like, what the hell are you doing? And why are you doing it this way? And I think what's coming in our industry has made them kicking and screaming, open their minds a little bit and want to learn. And all I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with doing business differently. And here's the thing, if you're an agent, you're thinking about moving, interview the lowest cost brokerage in town. Interview the most expensive brokerage in town. Interview a high producing team. Interview us. Go see everything there is to see and go learn. Go be an open mind. Okay, I'm not shut down to anything that anybody wants to tell me ever. I'll listen. I might disagree. I might push back, but I'm going to listen. Okay, so look, it's okay. It's okay. Just go home and tell yourself change is okay. To at least consider change is okay. Just open your brains a little bit. It's not going to kill you.
A good book about change is Who Moved My Cheese?
Move my cheese.
Yeah, that is
Simple and good.
simple
I've
and
never heard of
good.
that one.
What?
I'm not a big reader. So
It's a goodie. It's a
It's
goodie.
it's a great book.
I'll put it on our
is that
push
like if you
My-
give a mouse a cookie?
No, it's
They do like cookies.
it's my dad.
I've read Goodnight.
My dad asked me to read it when I was in high school, and I
That's
read
Not My
it,
Puppy is my
Oh,
favorite.
what a good
but I didn't understand it. But if you I've reread it a couple of times, and it's a great book.
That should be like high school curriculum.
I agree.
You know what? The Giving Tree.
Love that book.
My kids thought I wrote that book for a long time because the guy who wrote that book has a shaved head.
Nice.
And he kind of looks like Skinny Me, which I was back in the day. Like, Dad wrote this book. And I'm like, nope, you just can't read yet. His name is Shel Silverstein. That's not me.
Yeah, not me. Well, look, so if an agent or a seller or a buyer wanted to get in touch with you guys, how would they do that?
Let's look for all the smoke from social media. You will find me there. I mean, look.
Also true.
Look at Kelly just sighing into the microphone. I mean, God, why did you marry me?
I question myself a lot.
It was your basketball skills. You just didn't want to tell us.
I mean, honestly, it was. She got to see me make a bunch of threes our second date.
I mean,
I was
most
coaching
solid
basketball.
women have to admit they were a
I mean,
clean
she
chaser at one
swooned.
point.
She did. But I mean, look, Google my name. I mean, here's the thing. I tell everybody, like, Kelly's sweet. Kelly's going to be your broker. And as long as you listen to Kelly and learn from Kelly, she's going to have your back 180% of the time. But for the most part, if you're thinking about doing what we do, call me. And I mean, we could do it privately. We could get a coffee. We could go get a sushi. I mean, I'm a sushi sucker.
Jared loves the sushi.
I mean, we could get a concussion roll. I mean, so here's the thing. My point would be to learn. Even if you're like, man, I think I hate this guy and I disagree with everything he says. Trust me, you're going to leave a sushi lunch with me and you're going to have some sake and you're going to have a sushi and you'll be like, I disagree with that guy on everything, but I kind of like him. I guarantee you that's how it's going to be. So it's
I like
okay.
that confidence, Grant.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree with everybody to be cool with them.
So just Google Grant Clayton.
Or set
You
the
ready?
lunch
50 just
at
Grant.
Magoomy.
If you go to Magoomy, I'll probably be there. Here it is, 504-875-6599. Or look me up on social media. It's Grant Clayton. Or, go to any website. Just freaking Google my name or find me on social media. It doesn't
That was a
matter.
solid
Or perhaps
commercial and radio
1%list.com.
voice.
Go to 1%list.com. You'll 1%. That's
The number one. The
Yeah, if you go to
1%'s plural.
ONE%list.com, that's Cody LaBeouf. You don't want to talk to that guy. Go to the
I
number
love
one.
me, Cody LaBeouf.
I love Cody LaBeouf too. Number one, then the word percent, and then list.com. And just say, hey, I want to talk to somebody. And you're going to talk to me. Like literally every lead that comes through there, they get a text.
To
or a-
you.
Yeah, directly me
Yeah.
across the country.
You want to yell at you? They can go there.
I mean,
Wanna
we don't
talk to
have
you, they can go there.
1%list.com/hate mail, but I mean, I'll tell Dean, if you're listening, make 1%list.com/comment box and just make it a big fillable form.
All right, and then we're going to schedule part 2 where you get to read them. Like what
Put,
people
you know
say.
what? Link
be a
my
great episode.
Calendly to /comment box.
Yeah.
And I'll go on, I'll read mean tweets. Just like, who was that that did that? Kimmel?
Yeah, Jimmy
Nice.
Kimmel.
You know, there was a whole
We're gonna borrow
thread
that.
on social media that I put up saying, hey, I'm going to sit down with Jared and Lauren, and you need to ask, what all questions do y'all want? And I promised we were going to answer those questions.
Okay, so
But we didn't handle any of those.
that'll be part 2 and 3.
Yeah, part 2 and 3.
We'll get them back. We'll make Kelly stay home so she doesn't have to be subjected to your nonsense.
Oh, my God.
I appreciate it. I'm kind of wondering what my kids are doing downstairs right now.
They're
Well,
eating all the
Probably-
damn snacks.
Probably being
Yeah.
awesome, right? You know?
Well, thank y'all for coming.
We love y'all.
Chat with us
Thank
today.
y'all. Appreciate it.
We love y'all.
appreciate y'all.
Best, the best on the North Shore by a landslide. And
This
y'all
complimentary duo of funness right here.
y'all talking about y'all two or us two?
Both.
Both.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. Fair enough. I agree. So, perfect.